What's up, you bunch of dinguses? Welcome back to the whiteboard. Today we're talking about Dank Skulls the Third, or Dark Souls 3, aka.
Life is good, but it can be better.
So, I'm gonna be honest. I know I said that I was gonna add gameplay to this video, but I can't figure out how to get it off my PlayStation and put it onto the thing to edit it. I'm really sorry to that person that I said I'd try to add gameplay to my videos to. My apologies, because I really want to do that to make my videos just a little bit better, because I know staring at my ugly mug for however long these videos are, it's probably a little boring if I'm being honest, and me just standing here pointing at this thing for no reason, because there's hardly ever anything on it with these just rant kind of videos. I just look over at my notepad to see what I've got written down, but yeah, I am really sorry to that person. My apologies. So, Dark Souls 3. This video might be a little different because when I was playing this game, I didn't really find much that I didn't like. There's just a couple things, maybe two or three. One's a little bit more nitpickish, I wrote down too many mimics because it seemed like every corner I turned, apologies, any corner I turned, I would run into a mimic and I'd see a chest and be like, oh sweet, loot. No, it's a mimic. Man, how did we go from Dark Souls 1, which had probably a few mimics when I just stumble on them, and then we got 4 million in just a couple areas. So yeah, with that out of the way, I don't think I have any other things I need to talk about up front before we hop into it. So let's just do that. Let's get right into the actual video, starting with our good things that I liked about the game, and what I think Dark Souls 3 improved on Dark Souls 1, because keep in mind, I still don't have Dark Souls 2, so not sure how that game is, but I have heard terrible things. So let's get into it. So starting right off with it, we'll go into the bosses first, because my main issue with Dark Souls 1 was I thought that the bosses were a little bit meh. It seemed like all the bosses that I saw, because you know me, I probably missed some stuff. Well, I thought that almost all the bosses that I saw personally were really good. They are all solid. Sure, there were a couple, not as good as the other ones bosses. Some that come to mind are Deacons and Crystal Sage. Those two aren't as good as the other ones. I think my most favorite fight was probably Dragon Slayer armor and Abyss Watchers. Those fights were fun. Dragon Slayer, yeah, he was fun to try to figure out how to fight. Aldrich was a little annoying though, the big goop monster guy, and having to fight him twice because I did Henri's quest line, so it's fine though. I had a great time with this entire game. When I was playing it, I beat it in 2 days because I needed a break because I needed sleep. But I didn't want to put the game down. I was having too much fun. But with Dark Souls 1, I needed to take a break between because, it's insanely slow. But also, another thing, the music of the game was magnifique. And another thing with the bosses, when I got to Soul of Cinder, I fangirled hardcore when he did the grab move, and it did the thing that Gwen does. Yeah, I got hit by that because I suck at these games still. Even after beating Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 3, because I was playing Bloodborne, and Elden Ring, I still suck at these games. But I had fun. It was a great experience. It was great. Also really liked all of the locations for the games. When you would, or this game, when I was just exploring, I called it when I was in the area leading up to Anor Londo in Dark Souls 3. I called it that it would be Anor Londo because I was like, wow, these stairs are a lot like Anor Londo's, and then all I see is blah, Anor Londo, and I was like, nice. And then I ran around with Smo's hammer for almost the entire game too. yeah, it was fun. Just swinging around a timpani drum on a stick. It was a great time. But banking off of that whole thing, I ran into a really, like, I ran into something. I was just like, wow, there sure are a lot of references and callbacks to Dark Souls 1. Like, we had Andre come back. Um, I'm, I believe I heard that Ornstein comes back as a boss in the game somewhere. I'll need to rerun through it, but I thought I saw that in like a playthrough that I watched once. Smo's hammer, of course, and Smo's armor is another one. Anor Londo itself, you know. That can kind of be a, as I say a lot in these videos, say it with me now, fan base, a double-edged sword. It can both be pretty good, but also pretty bad, because you don't want to be like COD Cold War Zombies, where you're just references on references on references. Like when Samantha Maxis comes out and she's just wearing the original crew's gear. I don't know, that it felt weird, you know? But still, I loved it. I love just opening a chest and seeing Smo's hammer pop up and then using that for most of the game. Yeah, that weapon goes nuts. Like, I dropped Vort's hammer for it, old Gort of the Boreal Valley, you know what I'm saying? I used his hammer for a minute because I thought it was fun, and it was fun. And I was just like, you know what? Smo's hammer. Gotta bring in that Dark Souls 1 representation. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I thought that was great, but if you do too many references, you can really get into that point where it's just like, this is just fan service at this point. But like, I thought going to Anor Londo was kind of cool, just saying. Yeah. A really big change they made in Dark Souls 3 was you getting Estus back from, why did I talk like that? Is getting Estus back from killing random enemies. Like, you get them, like, I looked it up to see why I was getting them, and it said like it's an invisible meter or something that builds up every time you kill an enemy. Now, I'm not sure if that's 100% true. If it isn't, tell me down below. But I like that idea, but I also don't like how it's not explained. That's a real big problem with the Dark Souls series as a whole, though, where you really don't get explained a lot of gameplay things. Because, like, well, it's like kind of like a two-way thing, where I was playing Lies of P, and you know, for like the first section of that game, you just have that like little window up here that tells you the controls. I don't want that, because that's just kind of annoying. But I also don't want it to be like Dark Souls, where I don't know why I'm getting certain things, like why I'm getting Estus back randomly. Don't get me wrong, I'm thankful for it, because I probably wouldn't have gotten through this game without it. But it's also with Dark Souls 1 where, like, you don't really get explained what humanity does, unless I missed something. I probably did, but you know. And I don't know, I just don't like not being explained how something works. Like, just, like, how, if a game doesn't fully explain like, what one of the core gameplay mechanics are, I'd rather be told that, rather than just having to assume. Like, when I was playing Dark Souls 1, I was thinking, oh, if I get the Rite of Kindling, it just gives me, like, plus 15 or however many Estus at all bonfires. But no, I was wrong. I was swindled. I was fooled, even. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of what I'm thinking about it. But speaking of comparing this game to Dark Souls 1, I like how there's more bonfires, but at points it feels like there's way too many. Like, I think I think it's during the Dragon Slayer fight. After you kill him, you get a bonfire, and then you go into the room after him, you get another bonfire. Why? Why are there so many bonfires? Like, I don't want it to be like Dark Souls 1's New Londo Ruins, where there's not a single bonfire. or like Dark Souls 1 in general, where there's no bonfire after a boss. I like that because I don't want to like be walking around and then just get one stabbed by or one shot by little Timmy the unkindled or whatever. I want to be able to be like to know I'm safe and not gonna get killed when I have like 30k souls. Had that happen to me, I wanted to die. But it's the same problem with Elden Ring also, where there's way too many sites of grace in some area. Like even a big example of that is in Hogwarts. We're just gonna call it that because I can't remember the name right now. You get a not bonfire. You get a site of grace in one area, then you get to the lift that takes you up to like past the gate. There's just a bonfire or site of grace sitting there. Why are there so many? Like, I get it, it's because it's an explorative game. I don't know if I used that word right, but or if that's even a word. But it just felt like there was way too many in that game, and it kind of came from Dark Souls 3 is what it feels like. Also, here's another thing I want to talk about comparing, well, keep in mind, remastered Dark Souls 1. Why is it... Come here. Why is it that Dark Souls 3 came out in 2016, and it had that amazing jumping mechanic where it's just you press circle, and then you press L3 because I'm on PlayStation by the way. I already said it with me. You do that, and then keep in mind 2016 Dark Souls 1 remake, which is what I played, came out in 2018. And it went back to the hold circle and press circle to jump. That killed me so many times. Why didn't they just change that? Why didn't they just make that the default setting? FromSoft? I don't get it. I don't get it. Dark Souls 3 also improves on only having one blacksmith, where I don't have to go to 3 different areas just to get one thing done. But don't get me wrong, I didn't want to do any of the crystal stuff. I couldn't care less because crystal sucks. But that one giant in Anor Londo, also he comes back in Dark Souls 3. That was depressing. I don't want to have to go to him just to buy large titanite, then come all the way back to Andre to get actually, you can do that level with him. But I don't want to have to do all that, like, oh, I need to go to that one instead of going to Andre, which is the closer one, like the easier one to get to because you just ride a lift and you're there. Why were there so many blacksmiths in that game, in Dark Souls 1? Dark Souls 3 did it perfect though, where it was just Andre, just chilling in Firelink Shrine. They also should have done that in Dark Souls 1, which that would have been a way better option, you know what I'm saying? Because then you wouldn't have to deal with needing to figure out where they are. Well, they're pretty easy to get to. Like the one guy in New Londo is just down the stairs, then the giant is just through like a couple different areas. And then there's that one blacksmith in the catacombs, which I never found, I just heard about him. But they finally did that right and just gave us one singular blacksmith. Also, they made it easier to get the boss weapons, which I still don't know how to get the boss weapons from Dark Souls 1. But getting them in Dark Souls 3 is easier because you just give it to the little fella in the chair, the other Lord Soul, kinda, king guy. Where my short king's at. Because he is one. He's great. He's literally a short king. You just give them to him after you give him like the thing you get from the tree with nuts, which was a really weird fight. That's also a really kind of meh boss, but I'll still take it. It was kind of it was different. That would have like had a really soft place in Resident Evil with like the hitting the certain exposed area and then you kill it, you know, just like in Resident Evil. But it's a lot easier because I still have no clue how to do it. I didn't look it up because I probably wouldn't have used a boss weapon anyway. I probably would have just stuck with my sword that I used through the entire game. Another thing, the combat is finally faster. Thank God. I don't have to struggle for that. I didn't even have to use a shield through almost this entire game. It was a lot of fun. It was more fun than having to just sit there and wait. But me getting to just run up and just bonk someone with a ginormous timpani drum on a stick. I know I made that joke already, but look at it. It's literally a timpani drum on a stick. So, excuse me. Like I said, I didn't have very much thoughts after playing Dark Souls 3. I pretty much just went over everything that I thought were like the good of it, like what it improved on, and then like some stuff that kind of draw it back, like the mimics, the sheer amount of mimics. Also, the poison swamp wasn't unbearable. That was nice. And the fact that there's like so many callbacks and references to Dark Souls 1 that it got a little bit annoying, not gonna lie. Also, that reveal of going right back to the starting area, that was crazy. So, let's hop into my full final thoughts. That was a little glimpse of my final thoughts on this game. Let's jump into it. So, with all my opinions out on the floor, we can get into my final thoughts about the video, as I said a second ago. Honestly, looking at it from an objective point of view, with all of the good, the bad of both games, I gotta say that I think Dark Souls 3 might be just a little bit better. Now, I'm sorry. Dark Souls 1 is a very good game, but it kind of lacks in some areas. Like, the game takes a significant downpour after Anor Londo. Like, Bed of Chaos is horrible. Seath is fun. I liked him. And Catacombs, I'd rather eat broken glass than play that again. It just felt not as good as Dark Souls 3, which just felt like a really good high ride through the entire game. Like, I mean, sure, there are some bosses that don't stand out as much as, like, the other ones, but I don't know, it didn't feel as good as Dark Souls 3. Well, now with that out there, please tell me down below what you think about my video. Also, again, apologies for no gameplay. Like I said in the last one, I'm sorry. I don't know how to get it off my PlayStation. I even recorded one boss, and then I tried to get the footage so I could edit it, but nothing happened. So I don't know what to do. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. The next one should be that video that I promised of, like a video about people in high school, since I went through 4 years of high school. I don't ever want to do that again. I'm glad I'm out. So, hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one.